Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is John Mitchell. I'm the Henderson County Manager. I'm joined today by Jimmy Bristy, our Emergency Services Director, Mike Morgan, who is in charge of our communications, and the Chairman of the Board of Henderson County Commissioners, Rebecca McCall. I want to start this press availability by thanking the many employees that we have who've been working on this storm. Excuse me, for the last many days. Many of these employees have been working nonstop since the storm came through our county, and I'm very thankful for them to have left their families and come to serve their community. I want to touch on a few things. The first is, as everyone knows, this is a natural disaster in Henderson County, which is unprecedented in modern times. The more that I see about the devastation in the county, the more certain of that I am. We have over 500 employees who have come to work and who have been working through this storm to provide services, to stand up damaged infrastructure, and it's a process, but we are working through it. I think what I'm going to do now is ask Mr. Bristy if he will kind of touch on some of the things that are going on in the county. I'll follow up on the backside of that, and we'll be pleased to answer any questions that you may have at the end. Mr. Bristy, if you would.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone from the public that is doing what they can to take care of themselves, help their family and their friends and their neighbors. We talked about this before the storm, that in situations like this, preparedness and being able to be self-sufficient is critical. As Mr. Mitchell indicated, this is a storm of considerable epic results in the county, and we still have emergency responders in rescue mode. We are still working to get to parts of the community that were cut off and isolated 3 days ago. So we are very much still in rescue mode, working with the resources from the fire departments, the rescue squad, and the resources from state and federal partners that are operating throughout Western North Carolina. Including ground forces and aviation assets to get in and access these folks that are trapped. Conditions are improving, but there are still lots of areas in the county that are experiencing some flooding, and every part of the county is experiencing significant travel impacts, most of which are largely impassable. Power outages and cell phone issues continue in the county. We ask for everyone's patience as those providers work to restore those. This is again, just a significant event for Duke Energy. They have a considerable amount of work to do to restore power to all parts of the county, and it will take a considerable amount of time to do that. Currently, we have 2 shelters established in Henderson County, one at the Athletic and Activity Center on South Grove Street, and another one at the Edneyville Elementary School in Edneyville. We are working to continue to evaluate those needs and open an additional shelter. We have points of distribution set up. There's a point of distribution set up at the Mills River Town Hall currently that's distributing some water and some limited supplies. And then we are opening additional points of distribution in the rest of the county. We're clearing those spaces now of debris, trees, and those will be announced soon. And we have additional supplies coming in from the state and from FEMA, water and food to get out to the community. Those will be announced soon, and those when they will be available. We appreciate the partnership of the schools working on getting those set up. Speaking of schools, Henderson County Public Schools will be closed until further notice. They want to ensure the safety and well-being of students and staff. Once essential services are restored, the school system will make a determination on when they can safely reopen schools and communicate that to all the families. It's a pretty day outside. The sun's shining, and I know folks want to get out and about. Make sure when you're out traveling, with all the traffic signals being out, you treat those as a four-way stop when you come to them. I would encourage you, if you don't have to go out, stay at home. We need clear travel for the utility companies and our emergency responders to get out, to move the materials that we need to support folks. And we just ask, if you don't have to get out, if it's safe, stay at home and until the conditions continue to improve. One of the things you may encounter if you're out is down power lines. Avoid driving over down power lines or underneath them. It's hard to know if they're energized, but your safety is of the utmost importance. We have a call center that's been established for information or to share any needs. That call center number is 828-771-6670. That's 828-771-6670. That's for needs related to the storm that aren't emergency needs. If you have a power outage, report that to your power company. If you have an emergency, call 911. The 911 center is operating. The call center, we're using that to help keep some of that call volume off the 911 center so they can focus on the emergencies. Like I said, today we're still very much in an emergency response mode, getting to some of these areas that have been isolated from the rest of the community. Our emergency responders are out in full force and have been for days, and will continue to be there until the situation improves. Moving into the future, we're going to work on supplying supplies and commodities to different parts of the community. We're going to be pushing those into the community where folks can get stuff that they need. And then you'll see additional points of distribution set up and volunteer groups coming in to support as well. So that information will be coming shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Brissy. I want to add just a few things. The first is that I want to assure the public that I've been in communication with all the managers of the municipalities in Henderson County to discuss these activities and how the county can be supportive. They've also been at work through the storm. I want to thank them for the resources that they've provided in this effort. I also want to say that we've been in contact with local, state, and federal officials, all of whom extend our thanks to. I just want the citizens of Henderson County to know that there are state and federal officials who are also working tirelessly on this effort. Many of whom have even been present in the county and are present today. I think also what I want to say out loud to folks in the community is that there are other partners outside of local government that are addressing the needs of the citizens here. Duke Energy, Optimum, Verizon, AT&T, the many individuals that have local businesses in this community that have opened up in spite of the many challenges that they have. And my great thanks go to them for the efforts that they put forth too. I think what I want to close with before we get to more remarks, and I'm going to have some questions and answers here in a moment, is where we began with thanks. One of the things that I'm deeply thankful for is that I just spoke with the Hendersonville city manager, and the water system in the county is working. So I know there's been a lot of information about that, and we can push out more information about that in the future. Madam Chair, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I would just like to reiterate that we thank the citizens of Henderson County for helping one another. I've heard story after story of people opening up their homes to their neighbors, those who have power back on offering their neighbors a chance to take a shower. I mean, things like that are just so important right now. I don't think that we realize how critical the little things that we take advantage of every day are for our daily lives. And this makes us appreciate them anymore. But this also shows how we can come together and resolve these issues together. And if I want to reiterate what Jimmy said, if you don't need to get out, please don't get out, because many of the traffic lights are not working and it's very difficult and dangerous to be driving. And those who are leery of driving in such situations could end up in a tragic situation. So if you don't have to go anywhere, please stay home. And also, I know you're anxious about caring for your families. I'm anxious about caring for my family, but there are resources heading our way that will be available. So just stay in tune and call the number that was given to you earlier to ask for help in those situations. And I want you to know that the Henderson County government is working this very hard, and we will help you through this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I greatly appreciate the Board of Commissioners, their involvement in this as well. I think what we're going to do now is have an opportunity for some questions and answer. Mike, are you going to open the floor?
Yes. I guess if anyone has a question, you can put it in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand, we'll try and get you in there. So we have a question: in any count on unaccounted for residents?
At this time, with search and rescue going on, we're maintaining a list through the call center of folks that have not been able to get a hold of some of their loved ones. To be honest with you, it is a fairly comprehensive list, but we expect that once cell service improves, that will improve, that list will drop very quickly. You know, a lot of folks are safe. They're just not able to talk to their loved ones in Colorado. So we're confident that as the power situation and the communication situation across the county improves, that will improve. We've not had anything specific related to any emergency calls that we received, to my knowledge.
Can I add something to that, if I might? I did in a brief moment of internet coverage earlier today. I saw a story reference to a gentleman I know out in Haywood County, Mayor Zeb Smathers, and he's quoted as having said that we're responding to this crisis with 90s communication technology, and I think that's a fair assessment of the communication ability on the media side. What is not a fair assessment of is the way that our local governments have been able to communicate with our people who are doing search and rescue. We've got a great solid ability to do that on the radio systems, and we are able to have effective communication there. But I think just it's a point well taken that a lot of and this is no surprise to anybody, the cell phone service in the county is not good at the moment.
And there's a question about the boil water notice. It is something from the city. They did mention that if you are, please use bottled water or boiled water before drinking. So that's still there. A lot of water is online. Some customers still can't get water, but there's not maybe the best pressure. It is coming. A lot of places are better than other places, but it is working again. But the boiled water is very important.
I'm gonna get in trouble with John Conant for talking about the water system, but I think the public should hear this. And it has been included in some of our previous communication. what was at issue is that the pump station where the water comes out of the Mills River was underneath floodwaters. And those floodwaters kept the pump station from able to being active. Now, the city had done its due diligence and had pumped a large amount of water into a place that it could get out into the system. But it took some time to establish whether or not that pump station would come back online. And as I mentioned a while ago, that is something which we're very thankful for. The pump came back on. That water is flowing to the residents in Henderson County. It's only going to improve as time goes by. And I must tell you that the situation in the county would be significantly different if we did not have water. So I'm thankful for that. Mr. Conant, if you're listening, my apologies.
And is there a shortage of gas or just issues with gas or power at gas stations? A question that was asked as well.
I believe most of the issues are related to distribution, just no power at many of the gas stations. The supply lines remain open to the bulk terminals in South Carolina. Is the information we've been shared.
And I think you touched on it earlier, Jimmy, but they're asking about rescues, fatalities, injuries. I think that's still a lot of stuff we're piecing together.
Yeah, so I can say during the busiest time of the storm, Friday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, there were well over 1,000 emergency calls for service in Henderson County during that time period. Those emergency calls for service are still coming in as we speak, as folks regain communications in certain areas or find alternate means of communicating through friends or family. So as for the number of rescues, I don't have a number for that. As of our situation report yesterday, there were 5 storm-related fatalities in Henderson County.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we do thanks for that. We will not be holding really in a press conference today. We do plan on pushing out some more information though, as some of these other things that Jimmy mentioned earlier about distribution sites, stuff like that. We'll have some more news coming out about that. I guess if there are not any other questions, Mr. Mitchell, if you want to,
I'd be happy to.
pray us out here.
I just want to thank the media for helping us get this word out. As I mentioned before, I think that's one of the things going on in the community, which is hard to address. It's hard to get out information at this time. But again, my thanks to you for participating and for working with us to help the citizens of Henderson County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.